Welcome back to another episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I am your host, Carter C., and today is another Sunday, another day for travel. Today, where are we going? We are going to Jamaica, and more specifically, Montego Bay. Jamaica is an interesting place for me in my travel experience because I'm pretty sure as I've gone through all the places that I've ever traveled to as I'm planning out these videos and writing what I'm going to say, or at least bullet points and ideas. I'm pretty sure I believe that Jamaica is the only country I've ever visited where the only place that I've ever gone is an all-inclusive resort. Now, the reason was for a friend's wedding, and the reason for going to Jamaica. And so the wedding was held at this all-inclusive resort a number of years ago, and so that's what we did. We flew down. I grew up and went down with my sister and her husband, and I was single at the time, and so the three of us flew down, hung out with family of the bride who we knew and had grown up with, and that was really it. So as you know, I'm not an all inclusive resort kind of guy. I don't really like them very much. This one was fine. It was nice. I mean, the rooms are pretty nice. Food's decent. It's never really my favorite, but I just feel like when I travel somewhere, I want to eat local food. I want to eat the food that is culturally authentic to where I'm going. That's why I'm going there. I'm not going somewhere to eat their version of my food, of American food, right? Because 100% I can cook it better than they can because I have those ingredients at every grocery store. I cook it all the time, what have you. I'm not looking for their version of my stuff. I want to experience their version of their food. And a lot of people, Jamaican jerk stuff, and you got spicy foods in some of the Central American countries. I love spicy food. I love all food, so I don't love all food. I like to try all foods. There's a number that I don't like, but I will eat most anything and try it at least once just to have that experience and see. And so an all inclusive for me is just a weird deal because they'll have some quote unquote local dishes, but then if you go somewhere local, it's much different than the way the all inclusive cooks it, because the all inclusive is looking, their spicy food isn't very spicy because most people don't like it spicy, or they're whatever, and they're cooking for 400 people instead of 40 people or what have you, and it's just hard to really manage the quality of food when you're ordering it in that kind of bulk and cooking it, preparing it in that kind of bulk. So anyway, all of that is to say, we fly down to Jamaica, and we're at the airport, and the bus or what have you that we were taking to the resort. I mean, they were basically like, you need a red stripe, man, like immediately getting off the plane, getting through, and they had a red stripe for us on the bus. They were like, here, welcome to Jamaica. It's sunny. Like have a red stripe, which was awesome, and big fan of the pill bottle. So it's kind of a cool beer bottle, but anyway, basically they gave us a red stripe. They were like, you need to relax. You're on island time, and then on the way to the resort, they said this area of Jamaica isn't really safe outside of these resorts. They'll prey on people. I don't know if it's still this way. I'm just sharing what I was told and what we were told back then. So whether it was fear mongering, whether it's actual truth to that area, I have no idea. I've never been back to Jamaica. But they basically told us not to leave the resort, that it wasn't really safe, and that if we needed to go somewhere, that they would provide a ride for us. We needed to let them know, and they would make sure that they got us there safely and back. And that was just kind of weird for me, because I guess I had traveled a little bit at that time, but I never really been in a place where they were just like, watch the heck out. So that was strange to me. So then we're in this all-inclusive resort, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The water's beautiful, the grass, everything, it's great. But my sister was training for a marathon, I believe, at the time, and she had to do like 9 miles, and she had never run long distance before. And so she had a long run scheduled for that weekend or whenever we were down there. And so she was like, I got to run this on a treadmill, because we were going to run 9 miles up and down the road. And they were like, something bad could happen. They'll just pick you up off the side of the road or something. I don't know. I don't really hear about Jamaica being too terrible. I mean, there was a time where it was maybe a little bit, but I mean, I know I don't know, just a lot of people would go to Jamaica for spring break and stuff. I don't know if they still do. I don't know what the whole situation is. So, anywho, so she was going to run the 9 miles on a treadmill indoors, and she was not happy about it. So, I don't know if she asked me if I just volunteered to run the 9 miles with her. So that was terrible, just to get up one morning and then go run 9 miles on a treadmill. So that's I don't know if you like running on a treadmill, but I don't. I hate it. And to be in a beautiful place and spend an hour on a treadmill is not fun. So anyway, that was kind of what have you. And then really just kind of the whole deal with Jamaica is isn't going to be a long video, because I didn't experience much of Jamaica. So I'll just say that I'm sure that there's probably some really good places about Jamaica, and I put this video out there just to say, like, this is a travel experience, and to me it's much less fulfilling because I don't have very many stories about my time in Jamaica to tell you. I mean, there was a nice wedding. I'm not going to mention who they were because they did, I haven't talked to them, but basically, you just, it's to me an all-inclusive resort. And at the time I wasn't a scuba diver. I probably wouldn't have, I don't even know if there was time to go diving or whatnot for that trip, but I'm sure there's some good diving somewhere in Jamaica. I mean, there's beautiful water, if not maybe some snorkeling, and so for Jamaica and for future trips, I want to be able to have stories to share and to say, hey, this is a really neat place for this. And, maybe like I'll do a video on Roatan, Honduras, because my wife and I went there last year, maybe 2 years ago. And I think it was last year. And that was, a very interesting experience to be on this island. And I think we had a different experience, I think, than a lot of other people. But at least we got to eat at some local places, and I'll be able to tell you some stories about that trip, because we left where we were staying. We went to different restaurants. We went scuba diving. We had different experiences and adventures, as opposed to flying somewhere and then being taken in a bus to a resort and then just staying at the resort and then leaving and then saying, oh, well, I've been to that country. I don't really feel like I've really experienced Jamaica, if that makes any sense to you. And so even though I've been there and an old passport, I'm sure I have a stamp from that country, but I don't really feel like I experienced Jamaica in a way that I've experienced the other places that I've traveled, to see a capital city, to see the towns and meet the people and eat at local restaurants and go, hey, I feel like, just for a few hours or a few days, I got a glimpse and kind of experienced the Jamaican culture. And I can't really say that with this video. That's kind of why this video is short, but also the point that I'm driving home in this video about how all-inclusives are just, they leave me with a sense of unfulfillment. And I just, when I go somewhere, I want to know more about that place, and I want to experience those things. And just sitting in a nice hotel, sitting in a nice resort, eating decent food. I've never been somewhere. If you could tell me where an all-inclusive resort has like just, the dankest food and everything, whatever, I just feel like they overcharge, and then you don't really, they kind of tailor their offerings, their experience just to the general whatever you want to do. That's kind of Americanized, and it just seems, I don't know, it's a little like postcardy, and it's nice, it's beautiful, but sometimes I like to get off the beaten path and enjoy places that aren't like home. So anyway, that was my trip, my experience in Jamaica. Like I said, it was just over to Montego Bay and back, and it was pretty short. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days, and really we just stayed on the resort and didn't do anything. And so to me, that's just kind of the sad. I guess I'll have to go back to Jamaica, and with my wife. I don't even know if she's been. I'll have to ask her. And then we'll just, maybe I'll do a redux, like a revision of this, and do another one, a part 2, and let you know in years to come. But there are a lot of other places that I've never been to. So at this point, Jamaica is not on my top 10 places to visit in the next couple years. But maybe on down the road, when I'm like 60 or something, I'll be like, let's go back to Jamaica. I don't know. Write in the comments. Let me know if you've been to Jamaica, if you've experienced other places. I think my sister did Negril for like a spring break or something. And I don't know. Let me know if you've had some good experiences in Jamaica, if you love Jamaica, where to go for my next trip. And if I should move it up on my list, if you've had really great experiences, let me know. So thanks so much for watching this episode of the House Husband Diaries. As always, I hope you are having a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.